Great. Again, for everyone who just joined, my name is Karen Monday. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Nature Center supervisor here at the Tualatin Hills Nature Center, which houses our Nature Kids preschool, which runs out of the Nature Center and at Jenkins Estate. So thank you everybody for joining us for our open house. Just a couple of admin notes. We are recording this so that we can post it on the website for people who weren't able to join live. And then as we get started, if you have any questions, please feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm going to be monitoring the chat while our program coordinators are going through our preschool information. And if it's appropriate to a slide, I might jump in and ask your question. I may just respond to you directly in the chat. And then we're also going to have time at the end of the presentation to go over any other questions that you guys have or that might have come up for you. So with that, I'm going to get started introducing our preschool team. And they're going to go ahead and introduce themselves. So I'll get started with having Ted introduce himself.
All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ted Doom. I'm the program coordinator at the Cedar Hills Recreation Center. I oversee our Jumpstart program that runs out of the Cedar Hills Rec Center. So if you're looking for any more information about Cedar Hills specifically, feel free to reach out to me. We will have our information coming through in the chat throughout the presentation. It'll also be on some of the slides in the presentation as well.
And then I'm Rachel Fort. I use she, her pronouns. I'm our environmental education program coordinator here at the Nature Center. And I coordinate the program, the Nature Kids program at the Jenkins Estate and here at the Nature Center.
And hello, everyone. My name is Tyler Franson. I am the program coordinator here at Conestoga Recreation Aquatic Center. I oversee all of our Fano Farmhouse preschools classes, as well as our bilingual Spanish preschool class here at Conestoga. And with that, I'll just kind of dive right into our 9-month preschool philosophy. Here at THPRD, our preschool programs really focus on fostering the growth in a positive and supportive environment, promoting social and emotional, physical, and language literacy and cognitive development. I know that Conestoga, we oversee the bilingual preschool as well as the Fano Farmhouse and Cedar Hills, the Jumpstart program. We are inspired by the Reggio Emilia approach. This is a hands-on collaborative approach where teachers act as more of a guide to building the curriculum around the child's needs or interests. The environment also inspires creativity and a way to discover new approaches to learning. This approach also encourages the children to take ownership for their own learning, as well as developing critical thinking skills through social interactions and creativity. And that's just kind of the focus that we have here at Conestoga in both of our bilingual and Fano Farmhouse, as well as Cedar Hills. And I'll let Rachel talk more about the philosophy that they use at the Nature Center.
Yeah, and then if it's cut off on your screen, just move your mouse down and you can see the rest of that slide. But here at the Nature Center and at Jenkins Estate, we have a nature-based preschool program. And that just means that we are doing all of those normal preschool things, but mainly outdoors. So we have an indoor classroom, but we spend most of our days going outside. And we really focus on, fostering that appreciation of nature and the environment while also building all of those essential preschool skills. So they're still working on their social emotional development, but we're doing it in an outdoor circle time, or we're having snack outside, or we're counting pine cones and working on our numbers. But yeah. And then so I'm going to talk about our staffing. So we have an up to 1-to-10 ratio for our staff. They are incredible. Everyone has such a passion for working with preschoolers. They come with such a range of experience in environmental education, from people who have been classroom teachers for years to folks who are learning about early childhood education and school, and they're in college and just really excited about working with kids. We have a structure where there's a lead teacher and then they have a co-teacher. And so in some of the classrooms, there will be a lead paired with a co-teacher, or it'll be 2 co-teachers with a lead teacher outside of the classroom supporting them. And then the program coordinator supports the program.
A couple key dates just for registration. We do encourage our current families and previous families to register for upcoming years. Most of our programs have a younger program, that's designed for 3 to 4 year olds, and then an older program. So we do give uh, early registration for current families to help keep them moving through our program. Um, and then our open registration will start Thursday, January 9th. It'll be an online registration. So just like our regular registrations for Tualatin Hills, at 9 o'clock, the class codes will become available in the current registration season, and you can sign up for classes. For the current families, the early registration does have to be done through the individual centers. So if you're looking to sign up for a program at the Nature Center, you'll want to contact the Nature Center either on phone or in person. Same thing for Conestoga. If you're looking for either the bilingual program or the Fano Farmhouse, you'll want to reach out to the Conestoga Rec Center. And then for Cedar Hills for Jumpstart, you'll want to reach out to Cedar Hills. Again, both registrations will be at 9 a.m. on a Thursday morning. The current is in person or on the phone, whereas the open registration starting on January 30th will be open to everybody and available to register online. We will have registration codes on a later slide. It is also available on our website as well. In order to get registered for the programs, there is a $50 non-refundable fee to get you in and hold that spot. And then the first payment for preschool won't be due until August. This has a quick list of all of the registration codes that are on there. Again, it's all listed online, so don't feel like you have to, write everything down in a frenzy right now. The website that's listed on here is our district-wide preschool page, and it does list a lot of information on being able to get registered for the programs and what the codes are.
And we just had a good question in the chat. Do you feel that early registration fills up the classroom? So I'll have each of you respond to that question for each of the centers.
I would say I think that it really depends on the programs. Some centers like Cedar Hills, um, we tend to not fill up super quick. Some of the other programs, in the past have filled on, the very beginning of registration. So it's really dependent on the population, and every year is a little bit different. Tyler, Rachel, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to that.
Yeah, I know that our center, we have programs that definitely fill up. It's the class. There's a specific class that may be more popular than the other because the class before that was growing into it. I know that we've seen that a lot where they like the teachers, they like the place, they want to come back for that specific class. With that being said, I wouldn't be discouraged. When you get to registration and there's already a wait list, still get on that wait list because there's a lot of time that happens between now and September where the school starts. And we do see a lot of movement throughout, the summer and other, people may get into other programs and things like that. So there is a possibility that, you'll come off that wait list. So whether there's a wait list or not, I would still encourage to still register. Don't worry about the wait list at this moment. So that'd be my 2 cents. But I think there's still classes that have spots available. It just depends on the program and the age range.
Yeah, I'll just add on for the current families, typically the kids that are in the 3 and 4 year olds class, they're moving up to that 4 and 5 year old class. So there's plenty of room in that 3 and 4 year old class when you get to registration during open registration for the public. But those classes fill up really quickly on that registration morning. Typically, there's a lot of people that are interested in that 3 and 4 year old range. So we do encourage people right at 9 o'clock to be ready on the website to go and register so you can get your spot. I wouldn't wait until later in the day to go and register. For the 4 and 5-year-old class, so there are a lot of kids that do the 3 and 4-year-old class and want to continue on to that 4 and 5-year-old class. So they do take a fair amount of those spaces. But the 3 and 4-year-old classes are a little bit smaller than the 4 and 5. And so there's still open room for the public when registration opens on that day.
I talked a little bit. It's the $50 registration fee. Hold your spot in the program for the year. Tuition is due on the 15th of the month prior to the start of the actual month. So September tuition is due August 15th. As we do registration, we divide it equally among 9 months. So even though one month may have, 7 days in it, where one month has 10 days in it, we split that tuition so that it's the same registration amount for each month. Payments will get added to your Tualatin Hills account. You'll be able to log in and make that payment either online or at any of the centers. We do have prices listed on that previous screen, or if you go onto the website, everything's listed for the tuition. Each program, depending on how many days are in it, whether it's 3 days a week, 2 days a week, and the duration of the class depend on what the cost is for that tuition. There are also options available as far as paying for classes. Tualatin Hills has a financial aid program. You can find links on the website. You can also email financial aid at thprd.org to get more information about it. General guidelines is that the household income is below the federal free meal guidelines. And it is available just for in-district residents of Tualatin Hills. There are a couple other programs that are available. All of our preschools this year right now and this upcoming year will be eligible for the employment-related daycare. And so that's an option that may be able to help on the financial aspect to cover the costs of preschool. There is a link on here, it takes you to the Oregon information, has more information about the program and what's required in order to be eligible for it. They do have often a wait list for the program. So if you are applying, make sure that, you do put in the information, you do put it there. They will circle through the wait list to get people enrolled as often as they can. They have limited funding for their organization as well. And so a lot of that space is limited and based off of that.
Yeah, and all of our 9-month preschool programs are half-day programs. They're either in the morning or in the afternoon. We've got a lot of different locations. So at Cedar Hills Recreation Center, we have our Jumpstart programs. Those are morning classes, Monday through Friday. And then at the Fano Farmhouse, which we can change that slide there, Ted, if we can. The Fano Farmhouse is about a half-mile away from Conestoga Recreation and Aquatic Center. It's an old historic farmhouse that used to be an onion farm. This is why all of our classes are named after onions. But we run 4 classes out of the Fano Farmhouse. It's going to be Monday through Friday. We have classes starting at 9, going till noon, as well as 1 to 4. And then at the Nature Center, Conestoga, I'm going to get ahead of myself here. At Conestoga, we also have our bilingual Spanish preschool. This is held here on site at the Conestoga Recreation Aquatic Center. This is a morning class from 9 to noon, and this is also held Monday through Friday. The next one will be the Nature Center. They have classes also at the Jenkins Estate, as well as the Nature Hills or the Tualatin Hills Nature Center. They have classes Monday through Friday as well, morning and in the afternoon. And all this information is located on our website. If you want to get more information on those classes, you can reach out to the program coordinator that is associated with that site. We also do our best to follow our class calendar with the Beaverton School District. It's not exact, but we do our best to kind of keep the holidays around the same. You'll receive this class calendar in your welcoming emails that'll be sent out in August. And then I definitely reference this throughout the year. Our teachers do a good job of, having reminders and things like that. And we try to communicate when we have holidays or breaks coming up. But it's a good reference to have. It'll also provide you the first or orientation, our first day, conferences, last day of preschool classes as well. So look for that in August.
Great. And then before I jump into check in and out, I'll say a couple things that were in the chat just so it gets into the recording, but we can answer more questions about those at the end. But someone brought up asking about the $50 registration fee. You only pay that fee if you get a spot in the class. So you can get onto the wait list without paying that registration fee. That is only if you're securing a spot in the class. And then some folks had some questions about the ages. Is there an age exception? So we do allow a little bit of a grace period, like a couple of days around being the right age by September 1st, but we do follow the Beaverton School District kindergarten standards. So they do need to be the proper age for that class as of September 1st. So even if you join midway through the school year and they're turning 4, they won't have been 4 by September 1st. So they wouldn't be able to enter kindergarten with the rest of that group. So that's what that means. So if you have any questions about that, we can talk a little bit more about it at the end. But check in and out. So we find safety really, really important. So our check-in and out procedure is pretty strict. So you do have to show identification at pickup. We do require you to have a photo ID. And so we have an authorized pickup list of who is allowed to pick up that child. And that is something that you can update online in your THPRD portal. You'll have a emergency contact sheet, and that's where you'll put all of the people who are authorized to pick up. And then we ask everyone to please keep that up to date. So if you add a babysitter, make sure that you put their name on there and then let your teachers know. And then the other thing with check in and out is that we ask for folks to be on time. So some of our rooms do turn over to another program after preschool. And so we want to make sure that everyone shows up with those check in and check out times. And then for our daily schedule, each of our programs has a little bit of variation to this, but we all kind of follow a similar flow. During check-in, we'll often have kind of a free play time so the kids can go and explore different activities and work on those social emotional skills that we know are so important at this age. And then we all have some sort of gathering time where we'll do a circle and maybe they'll go over the calendar or maybe they'll talk about their theme for the week and work on those numbers skills, literacy. They do a snack time, so we don't have a lunch at preschool, but we offer a snack time. All of our programs, we do ask for folks to do nut-free snacks. And then there's a variety of different allergies that kids might have. So just be kind of thoughtful about that when you're bringing food to school. And then we have like our individual learning centers. So that's where they're going to be working on some of those important skills. So whether it's a fine motor skill or if they're working on that early literacy, that happens during that time. And then there's going to be like a recreation time. So for us at the Nature Center, we're going to go out on a hike or maybe we'll go over to our play meadow and we have a fun mud kitchen and things like that. And then it's pickup time. So it's a pretty short day and they go through it pretty quickly, but that's like the 2.5-hour class and the 3-hour class is just longer segments for each of those times.
Things to bring to class, things not to bring. In general, we have the supplies for the preschool that are in the class. Everything that they need to use throughout the day will be there. We do want people to make sure that, as they're coming to class, as Rachel said, they're bringing a snack, they're bringing a water bottle with them. And really important that they're dressed for the day. Especially at the Nature Center, they will spend a lot of time outside. So making sure that kids are dressed for the weather. If it's raining outside, they have the appropriate rain jacket, boots, stuff like that. We also ask that they often have a change of clothes. Kids play, things get muddy, things get wet, things get dirty. And it's just there just in case, so that we do have it. As we talk about snacks, we want to make sure that it's a snack, it's not a meal. We want something that, they can eat in a short period of time, so that we can kind of continue on with class. They can keep learning and moving forward. Things that we want to try to avoid bringing is anything that you're going to be really upset if they don't come home with. It doesn't mean that, we don't look out for their personal belongings because we do definitely care and we want to make sure they have them. But, kids play, sometimes things get broken, things get ripped. Sometimes, you're out walking around and you set something down and nobody notices that it got set down. So we want to really try to avoid, being able to, not lose things for people, make sure that, everything they're coming with, they're going home with. And so unless there's a sharing day or something special like that where, they're bringing something in for that, we want to try to leave stuff from home at home and then we'll have stuff in the preschool that they can use throughout the day.
Yeah, and our preschool programs also try to participate in field trips. We try to do 2 field trips in the school year, one in the fall and one in the spring. These field trips could be anywhere from like the pumpkin patch in the fall. In the spring last year, we went to a place called Frog Pond Farms. The kids absolutely enjoyed it. And with these field trips, we ask that parents transport their kids to and from the venue. And we really encourage the parents to stay on site, experience the field trip with the kids. It's a great time to build that community with the classroom, watch the kids kind of enjoy the class. The teachers will always still, have a curriculum in place and an agenda for the day. But it's something that you can at least observe and be a helper and build that community, like I said. These field trips are also just scheduled during our normal class time. So if it's a morning class, our field trip's going to take place during that morning hour. There's some, times where we have to adjust the time because of the opening of the venue, but all that stuff will be communicated beforehand. And then in the afternoon, it'll still be the same thing. It'll still be during that class hour. So field trips, we just make sure that we're not transporting anybody. The parents are going to be taking their kid to and from the venue. We also have partnered up with some school photos. We have somebody come out in the fall and in the spring, and they take adorable photos of the kids. And it's amazing how much they have grown in a school year. So when this time comes, we'll let you guys know what the dates are, what the time is. And then also any makeup days, if for some reason the kid was sick and unable to make it, we'll provide all that information. And then the photographer will send you a link where you guys can purchase more photos if you guys would like to have an amazing photo of your kid. So look out for that in the fall and in the spring. And then we also have Library on Wheels come to our classroom. This is a great opportunity for kids to get introduced to the library. The person will come in, they'll read a story, they'll do some interaction stuff. With a bilingual class, they'll read a story in Spanish and in English, sing some songs, and it really just develops that lifelong, love for reading. And it's a great program for both library and us. Services that we also provide here at THPRD, we also have an inclusion service. This is a free service that we provide for kids that have diagnosed disabilities. This is where we provide an inclusion aid into the classroom where they can help with the transitions, give body breaks, adapt the curriculum to the students' needs, and just kind of be that buddy to help them feel included into the classroom. There's a lot more information that we can provide for these services if that's something that you are interested in. And then you can find that on our website as well. But it's a great service that we can provide to make sure that kid feels welcome and able to participate in the class safely and successfully. We also have a great working relationship with Northwest Regional ESD. They'll come out, they'll have their kids in our classroom and they can observe. They can do one-on-one speech therapy if that's needed for a student in one of our classes. They're also a great resource for us where we can ask questions about, classroom dynamic, behavior management, any tips and tricks that they can provide. It's a great, we understand that this is the first time some of these kids will be in a school setting, and they can help kind of provide that guidance of what those steps are. If we have a suspicion of there's some extra needs that the child needs to be met to be successful for even the preschool or the kindergarten year moving forward. So having these resources in our back pocket is definitely something to keep in mind just to make sure that everyone, like I said, is successful in our class.
So all of our programs will have teacher conferences. Some of them will have a fall conference in addition to an April conference. We really encourage to have that communication at drop off, at pickup. We try to get everybody in and get classes started at drop off and then pick up. There's time. If there's something that's going on in personal lives or whatever, you can always talk to the teachers. It's quick, short at the time of pickup or drop off, but we can always schedule a time if something's needed. Um, so that you can ask those questions. And then as we get to the end of the year, we will have a teacher conference and kind of talk about the progress that all of the children have made throughout the year, and how they're doing. And as they get closer to being the age going into kindergarten, we do an evaluation that kind of gives you uh, a good reference as to how they are meeting the requirements for that kindergarten entry to the school district. Um, Behavior is one of the things we work on a lot with preschool. We realize that a lot of times, the preschoolers are, one of their first times in a classroom setting. We know that we're learning how we need to be able to interact with other kids, how to share toys, how to, you know, progress in that classroom setting. And so we really try to be, kind of very upfront, very clear and understanding that, kids are learning. We're teaching them how to, kind of follow these social norms and what they need to be able to do moving forward. And so we really work with them trying to redirect people, focus, if we're having something becomes an issue, if people are, struggling over sharing a toy. We really want to work to find that resolution, to work to, you know, teach and have them come to that conclusion of that positive outcome and to be respectful for each and every person, whether it's another student or another teacher that's in the classroom.
And then we'll talk about our restroom policy. So like we said earlier, safety is most important for us. So that includes with the restrooms. So we have a policy where kids are not alone with an adult. So it'll either be a group of 2 adults with 1 child or at least 2 children with 1 adult. We do ask for almost all of our programs for the kids to be bathroom independent. So they do need to be potty trained unless you're in that 2.5-year-old class. They do offer diapering in that class. But for the rest of our programs, our teachers are not doing diapering with the kids. So bathroom independence looks like, can they go into the restroom? Can they get up on the toilet on their own? We have some like step stools and things like that. But before preschool, you'll want to work with practicing on wiping on your own and how to pull up your pants on your own and all of those things. We do know that potty accidents happen, and so that's why we also want to have that change of clothes. But if they end up having like a big poop accident or something like that, we might end up having to contact you to do an early pickup if, they need some extra care. And then absences and illness. So it's preschool. We know that they get sick, and we want to try and keep our classrooms as clean and germ-free as possible. So if your kiddo is sick, we do ask you to please keep them at home. And if they have a fever, they do need to be 24 hours symptom-free. In order to return, and your kid, sometimes they have allergies or things like that, but we really want to make sure that they stay home if they're at all sick. And then for any communicable diseases, COVID-19, chicken pox, lice, anything like that, we do ask you to both stay home and also let those preschool staff know, because we'll want to make sure that, that doesn't get spread. So please communicate to us if there's anything like that. And then if a kid is homesick, we don't offer credit for days missed of school.
And like Rachel said, safety is one of our most important aspects of our preschool program. All of our staff are certified in first aid and CPR, and will provide, minor first aid if there's cuts or bruises or bonked noggins or anything like that. And if there was a major incident or an injury or anything, we will call 911, and then also our supervisors and families will be notified immediately. This is going to be my shameless plug to make sure that you have all of your emergency contact information up to date. That way, if something does happen, we at least have all the information to get a hold of somebody quickly. But it is our number one goal to make sure everyone stays safe and we avoid these major incidences. All of our teachers will also have first aid kits in the classroom, as well as fanny packs for if they go on a nature walk, or outside the Pano Farmhouse goes for walks outside of the park. We'll also have first aid kits in our fanny pack, as well as a way to communicate with other staff or supervisors. So we use mobile phones as well as walkie-talkies. And this is just to make sure we have that communication. If somebody needs some extra assistance, we can at least get that. So again, we definitely want to make sure that we have all of our safety covered. And with these, and if there's a minor incident, I forgot to mention this, all of our teachers will mention that at the end, like at pickup. It'll be a quick, hey, we had a little accident today. They were running, they bumped their heads, we provided ice. It seemed to be fine. They walked up, or they got back up and started playing again, whatever. So you can have that open communication, like Rachel was talking about at that checkout. So yeah, keep in mind that if there is any incidents that do happen that you want more information about, or you're more concerned about, you can always reach out to the program coordinator at that site as well.
Hey, communication. Yeah, so we will communicate in a variety of ways. So there's that quick communication at check-in and check-out. You can let your teachers know if something has changed at home, or maybe they didn't sleep very well last night, so they might be a little bit more irritable today. Any of those things are great to communicate in that way. But we also have emails. All of our staff have a work email as well, so you can email our preschool director directly, or you can email the program coordinators. We have our center phone numbers, so you can always communicate that way. If you're not going to be out sick a day, you can give us a call and let us know. And then there's some other ways that each of the classes, some of them will do more in one way or another way, but we have newsletters. We will also do like a private social media group. So some folks have really liked doing like a private Instagram group, and just the parents are invited to that group. We use something called Class Dojo here at the Nature Center. So it's a private like online website that you can share a link to, and we can upload videos and things like that, just so you can stay connected. And then we always encourage families to please communicate with us proactively. So, maybe you just moved, like big changes in your life. It's nice to let those teachers know, because that's going to, affect your child. Other ways you can connect is through volunteering. So, we do allow parent volunteers in our preschools, and you can help out with a variety of different things, whether it's maybe helping prep a craft, or assisting with going out on the hike with them. It might be during picture day, we'll often have parent volunteers just helping to, facilitate that. In order to be a parent volunteer, though, there is a multi-step process. So we require a two-part background check process through the Oregon Department of Early Learning that does include fingerprinting. So it is not a very quick process, but it is a very important and very safe process. So if you're interested in parent volunteering, please check in with your teachers at the beginning of the school year, and we can start that with you. Cancellations and inclement weather. It is January now, so we are kind of anticipating potentially some of this happening. So sometimes school does get canceled. We don't offer sorry, we when programs are canceled or delayed due to weather, we're gonna go and have that posted on our website. We're gonna email families, but if it's like one of those last minute closures, we're also going to go and call families. You can sign up for text alerts through THPRD, and they'll let you know if one of the centers is closed. And then there's also gonna be a big banner on the website, and usually on like the local news, it's on the banner there too. So we try to communicate as quickly and in as many ways as possible preschool if there's going to be inclement weather. And it does happen, but hopefully cross our fingers for this year.
So these are kind of a list of other classes that can help prepare kids for going into the preschool program. All of our centers offer some kind of program that works to build to that, the classroom setting, working on social skills. Whether it's Cedar Hills has a first time friends class, they also have an ABC Come Learn With Me. Conestoga will have their Play School and Play School Junior. Nature Center has a Preschool Explorers. Athletic Center has Bright Minds. These are all classes that you can sign up for through the regular activity guide. Oftentimes they may be with a different teacher, they may be with the same teacher who's doing the preschool program, but it's a way to start to build that classroom setting, so the kids are getting used to and just to be set. It's nice when kids have had that classroom experience that maybe it's one day a week versus jumping into 3 days a week for 3 hours at a time. And so these are all options that we offer year round throughout the district. You're more than welcome to register. You can talk to any of the three of us if you guys do have questions on any of them. With that, it is going to kind of wrap up our presentation. Um, Again, my information as well as Tyler's and Rachel's is on the screen for you. There is also the link for the main preschool webpage for Tualatin Hills, which contains a lot of information. A lot of stuff that was in the presentation that we just did is included in our preschool handbook, which is linked on the webpage. This recording itself, in the next week or two will be posted. The previous year's, last year's video is still linked on the website, but this one will be up shortly. We will go into kind of going through some questions. I think Karen's going to help us. I know there were some questions that came in during the chat as we were going through. So we'll try to work through some of those questions from the chat. And then if you guys have any questions, we can definitely work on those as well for you.
Great. So just to kind of talk through some of the questions that have gone in the chat, just for people who maybe didn't read it, that has the same question, is can one of you guys go over just when registration is for public for new families and how they actually go about registering? Just a quick overview of that.
Yeah, I can talk about registration. So starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we will start for people who are currently in one of our programs. At 9 a.m., if you want to sign up, so say you're in the 3.5, 4, and you want to sign up for the 4 to 5-year-old program, or you have a sibling who's entering the younger program, you will need to reach out to the center that is hosting the program. So if you're doing the uh, Fano Farmhouse or the bilingual program, you'll want to reach out to Conestoga. If you're looking for Jumpstart, you'll want to reach out to Cedar Hills. And if you're looking for the Nature Center or Jenkins Estate, you'll want to reach out to the Nature Center. And again, so that would be either in person or you can call on the phone starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Otherwise, open registration will start 1 week from tomorrow. All of the class codes are listed on the preschool website. They will be hidden from view until 9 a.m. a week from tomorrow. So on January 30th, I believe. That Thursday morning at 9 a.m., they will become available. So if you're searching for the class at 8:55, you will not be able to find it. But starting at 9 a.m., it will be visible on the website, and you'll be able to search and register for open enrollment for any of the preschool programs. You can also come into any of the centers within Tualatin Hills, and they can help you with registration, or you can call into any of the centers as well for that open registration.
Great. We had another question just about THPRD assessments. I'll go ahead and answer that. If you live outside the THPRD boundaries, there is a quarterly assessment that is due, and the current quarterly assessment is $106 per quarter. And so if you are out of district, it would be 3 quarterly assessments, a fall, a winter, and a spring, that would be due in addition to your registration fee. Another question that I'll give to you guys, one of the program coordinators, is there opportunity for in-person tours? And will there be an in-person open house once the children are registered for preschool programs? So questions about tours?
I can go ahead and answer that for the Conestoga side. I know a lot of people like to go and look at the Fano Farmhouse, as well as our bilingual class here. We do schedule tours, and that's totally fine. We just have an interesting window. I don't schedule tours while class is going on. That's just keeping kids safe. And also, like, we don't want to distract the kids or do anything like that and have families walking through. The house is small and cute, and we don't need any of those extra distractions. So what we do at the Fano Farmhouse is we'll set up tours for like a 12:15 time slot that's between the classes. The teachers are still there. You can still see the classroom. You can still ask the teachers questions, myself, kind of get the feel of the classroom. And then if you can't make that time slot, we also do like a 4:15 at the end of the afternoon sessions, and it's the same thing. The classroom's kind of open without kids. The teachers will still be there, so we can still have that interaction if that's needed. And then same thing with like the bilingual class. We'll try to do that in the afternoon. We share classes here at the center, so we can't do it too late because we'll already have different programs working in that classroom and the teachers aren't going to be here. So we try to do the bilingual tours around 12:15 as well. So if that's something that you are interested in, please reach out, email me. I'd be happy to set something up and kind of go from there. I'm also like, we're trying to work on some things to make sure we can get like a virtual tour. Bear with me, we're working on it. But in the meantime, you can reach out and we can do an in-person one.
And then what are the differences between the 9-month preschools and the preschool prep program? So like ABC, Learn With Me, Play School, Preschool Explorers.
I can take that one. Yeah, so typically it's the length of the class. So we do those prep classes term by term. So you might sign up for 4 sessions at a time or 5 sessions at a time, kind of like when you sign up for a swim lesson. You have a couple of different sessions rather than a 9-month program. So it's a great one for, maybe my kiddo is 2.5. I'm not sure if they're ready to join that 9-month program yet. I could put them in that Preschool Explorers class to practice a 1 day a week. It's a little bit shorter. It's only 1 day a week, just to go and, experience getting away from a parent, right? So if you've never had them dropped off before at a program, it's not usually the most fun experience in the world. I know from my son dropping off at daycare the first time, oof, it's hard for us both. So, you got to work that muscle a little bit. And so those prep programs are helpful for literally dropping them off somewhere and having a little bit of time away from you as a parent. That's just a really important experience. They're also going to work on some really basic skills like coming together as a group and sitting in a circle. Like that doesn't happen at home, right? So it's just those really, really basic preschool skills. And often they're kind of like an abbreviated version of our 9-month program. So if the 9-month program is focusing on a particular theme in a week, sometimes that'll get incorporated into those 1 day a week programs. But it's just that little bit shorter practice, some of those, maybe they've never shared with somebody if they're an only child at home, or a youngest sibling. Sometimes, they're used to they just get the blocks, right? So we're practicing those muscles.
And I'll take this one. If your child's registered and you decide your child isn't ready, can you quit mid-year? Yes, you can. We ask for 30 days notice before departing the program, and the $50 deposit is non-refundable. So that is what you wouldn't get back. And then alternatively, you can also start mid-year if there are spaces available. So we just ask that you talk with the program coordinator of the program. And if we have spaces available, you can definitely start mid-year. by working with just the preschool team directly. Oh,
And that's why we encourage that wait list. So often, someone might start in September and 2 weeks in, they decide, oh, we're not quite ready for preschool. And so we're going to call down that wait list to focus on that and try and get people into the class. So we strongly encourage you on registration day, if your preferred class is full, go and get on that wait list. You can get on wait lists for multiple classes. I think there was a question about, can I register for multiple preschool programs? We do encourage you to just do one. There's not like a hard rule that you can't, but we definitely don't encourage you to both sign up for a morning and an afternoon and come pick them up and drop them back off again. We just typically find that they're just not as successful. So they're designed to be a half-day preschool program.
another question is, are there bios of the teachers for each program for people to see?
So I will jump in on this one. I know that for Cedar Hills, as we start the program, and kind of, I guess, jumping back into the previous question as well, is we do also do a kind of an open house with the preschool teachers being available to come in a couple days before the start of the year, so that the first experience is not, coming up and dropping your kids off at the door and walking away. All three of the centers have, an orientation day where the parents can come in, they can talk to the teachers right before school starts, see the classroom with their kids, come in and experience everything in the room. So that works to build that relationship between the kids and the instructors, the teachers, making sure that everyone's aware of who's there. Um, and so we do really encourage that. And I totally just forgot the rest of the question.
It was just at bios. Will there be bios?
Yeah, so as we start classes, I know all of the programs send out information about not only the teachers and the information, but what's coming up. As Tyler mentioned earlier, the class calendars go out to everybody. We have daily routines and schedules, what our standard kind of day looks like, and all of that information that does go out in a kind of an orientation packet to everyone.
Someone had a very specific question about Conestoga Play School and Play School Junior is different from your bilingual program. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, our play school program is, we're not focusing on like Spanish immersion or anything like that, but doesn't mean that we don't speak it, or if there's a child in there that needs that, we'll try to accommodate. But the play school is just more of like play-based learning, like Rachel was talking about, more of like that social interaction, getting away from the parents. And the play school and the play school junior, the only difference between those are the ages that we provide. So the juniors are a little bit younger, and then the play school classes are for a little bit older kids. So it is not tied to the bilingual class at all.
Another one is just again about age ranges. So their child is going to be 3 when starting preschool, but then will be older than 3.5 when the school year ends. So would he qualify for Fano Farmer Pearls? So yeah, the age range that we give is that youngest part of the age range. They need to be that age by September 1st. So the 2.5 to 3.5 is the age of the whole program from start to finish. So they just must be between that age range as of September 1st for preschool to start for all of our programs, whatever the age range is, they must be within that by September 1st. All right. Question, is it better to have your child in a class on the lower or higher end of their age range? We're trying to keep, I'll go ahead and just keep answering that one. We're trying to follow Beaverton School District kindergarten. So our younger classes, so our 3-4s class is meant to be kind of that pre-kindergarten, that preschool, and then our 4-5s is the preschool going into kindergarten the following year. So we're trying to keep it within that age range of the 3 4s, and then the next year you're in the 4 5s, so that you're ready for kindergarten in that next age range. I'm hoping that answers your question. If that was your question and I didn't, feel free to pop on and ask a follow-up. If a child's having difficulty adjusting to the classroom, are there steps that you'll take to address the issue and let parents know?
I could take this one, or whoever.
Go ahead, Rachel.
Yes. Yeah, it's super, super common. Yeah, it typically the younger class has a harder time at the beginning of the school year. That 3-year-old, usually the younger class, it's all 3 years old that are turning 4. This is typically their first experience away from parents, and it's a little bit tough. So what we're gonna do is each center just is like slightly, a variation of this, but you're going to try and drop off your kiddo at 9 o'clock, and say they're having one of those days you're just crying and they just won't stop. We're going to encourage parents to leave as quickly as you can, because typically as soon as they don't see you, they do actually a whole lot better. And then we're going to give it a little bit of time. So in those first kind of 5 minutes, we know that it's going to take a while to get them integrated and calming back down. But after like 15, 20 minutes, we're going to call home and be like, hey, we cannot get them integrated into the group. Let's try again next time. And we'll do an early pickup. And we'll check in with you too. If you're like, oh no, this is just how they are, and I want them to keep on trying for a little bit. We just work on that individual basis with the parents. And sometimes it's, we just got to call it a little bit early, and then we're going to try again next time. And it's just that building up that muscle. So for some kiddos, it works really well to have the parent hang around outside, and like they can see you through the window for a little while, and that can be really helpful. And for some kids, that is really not helpful. And so we'll be like, you gotta go far away, and then we'll give you like a text message to be like, hey, just so you know, they are fully integrated and totally fine. So we're just gonna work with you individually to help you. Get them feeling comfortable. We definitely recommend, if you do sign up for the program, come by this summer and go and visit the Cedar Hills Recreation Center. Walk around there a little bit so that they see it, they recognize it. You can be like, oh, your preschool is going to be in this room here. Like there's some things that you can kind of do in advance to help them feel comfortable. And then just talking about it, there's a lot of really good picture books and things like that that you can read with them about getting prepared for preschool, feeling nervous about preschool, and all of that stuff. So we definitely work really collaboratively with parents to help the kiddos make that adjustment, because it's hard.
And I'm just going to add one more thing. We definitely will work. We'll do our best to, get people incorporated in classes, but that's also where these preparing for preschool classes come into play. Rather than your first day signing up for a 9 month program and finding out that maybe your child isn't quite ready for it, or, there's something that could be better. That's where these classes come into play, where you can sign up for one day a week and kind of get to experience, how your child is being dropped off, working with the teachers that are there. And so this is really encouraging if your child hasn't really spent a lot of time away from you.
And I'll add that those classes are open right now. So if you have a kiddo who is 3 years old and you're looking at signing them up for the 3-year-olds class in the fall, but they just barely turned 3, that's old enough to join the Preschool Explorers program. And there's still space in the one down here and over at Cooper Mountain Nature Park. We also do one there. Same with all of the other programs. But if you're like, I really want them to come in the fall, and they're potty trained, but like I've never been apart from them, I strongly encourage that. We also offer a lot of parent participation classes, or adult participation classes with your kid. Or it doesn't have to be a parent, could be a grandparent, could be a friend, a neighbor, whatever. That adult attends the class with them. And it's like that very first introduction to having an instructor that they're listening to, rather than getting the instruction from you. Like we do what's called the Need High Naturalist program here. It's just a 1 hour guided hike. You can sign up. You go with your kiddo, but like they get familiar with that place. And so I know at like Cedar Hills, they do some really fun like art classes together. Same with Conestoga. So if you're like, I really want them to go to preschool in the fall, I've never practiced going to a class together, give that one a go. And I think something just came in about potty training. So for the ones that you drop them off at, they do have to be potty trained. So like Preschool Explorers, we do ask for them to be potty trained. Ted and Tyler, you guys can hop in on your preschool prep programs. For us at the Nature Center, the potty training is like a pretty hard rule just because we do go outside and we don't want them to have those potty accidents out in the woods. So for us, the potty training is required for those preschool prep classes, but they're only 1 hour long and they're only 2 hours long 1 day a week. So sometimes if you're really borderline, you can kind of make it through, but we do encourage that potty training.
I would say Cedar Hills, for the first time friends in ABC come learn with me, they do not have to be potty trained. The teachers will work with taking them to the restroom if they're, if they're working towards being independent. They will also change diapers or, whatever needs to be done throughout that class time.
And that's the same with the play school junior class is kind of where we see that the most. And they do not need to be, as well as the Pearls class. Our 9 month program is a 2.5 to 3.5 year old, and they do not need to be potty trained either for the Fano Farmhouse Pearls class.
And then Tyler, I've got two bilingual preschool questions for you. So do students in the bilingual class need to be proficient in both languages? And then how's the setup? Is it 50% language learning? Give us more information about the bilingual class.
Yeah, they don't need to be proficient in both. If they're, if Spanish is their first language or English is their first language, they are all welcome into this class. Like I said, we kind of follow that Reggio Emilia where it's that kid-led learning. So if the kid needs more Spanish attention to like do these lessons, we'll give that kid the needs to provide to be successful. But if the kids are, all speaking English and they need to, to get the curriculum down, we could say it in English, but all of it will be taught in both English and Spanish. And the goal is to, as the year kind of goes on, is we kind of move into, starting more 90 to 90-10, their first language. And then by the mid-year 50-50, we're going to continue to like work on both sides a little bit more. And then by the end, we're going to be working more in our lessons with in the that opposite language. And we're really trying to build into the culture and build into the that Spanish immersion approach. But it's open to everybody. And it's basically like the lessons are taught for the kids' needs. And we try to we sing songs in Spanish and dance and do all those types of things. And yeah, it's just more of that immersion focus.
Great. I'm going to keep Tyler on. I've got a very specific Pearls question. For Pearls at Fano, would you accept a kid who was 2 years and 4 months at September 1st? So just a little bit more about any of the programs and an age exception if they don't exactly meet the September 1st age.
Great question. I'm a little lenient with some of those things. It does kind of come to I'm not making any age overrides until September. And it depends on what that age override looks like. If they're not within the right age, a couple months in, that's probably not going to happen because it doesn't seem like much. The 2.5 to 2 year old doesn't seem like it's much, but there is a big developmental difference there. And we just want to make sure that the kid is set up for success in the class and the teachers are also able to stick with the curriculum and build that class up to the level that is needed. So I'm not going to make any age overrides. And that also allows families that are interested in that class that do meet that age requirement a chance to get into the class. But if there are spots available and we're within, that same month or the next month, and I get a good read of what's going on in the classroom, it does kind of depend on the staffing and what they're saying that the class dynamic is, and if they can take on a younger kid and how many kids are on that younger spectrum of the age. And so there's a lot of different dynamics there that we kind of take into account before we make those age overrides. So if that is something that you are interested in, reach back out in September and I can give you a better idea of what the class numbers look like.
I had a question about, is enrollment first come on a first come basis, and then during registration, will I know if enrollment is confirmed or waitlisted? Yes, open enrollment. So for new families, it's first come, first serve. It's all online. It's in the registration system. So if you've ever, enrolled in swim classes, it's first come, first in, and you'll immediately know if you are in or waitlisted. So that will be clear in the registration portal, whether or not you are registered and you pay the $50 to complete your registration fee, or if you were waitlisted and don't have that $50 fee. So that will all be in there. And then if classes fill before February 6th, will you be able to find that out? That is not visible online, but you're welcome to call each center to figure out where we are with registrations. And just to provide, generally, it's the 3 4s continuing to the 4 6s to the 4 5s. For nature kids, we have 2 classes of 3 4s, and we have 3 classes of 4 5s. So there are typically at most of the centers, at least between Conestoga and the Nature Center, there are more 4 5 offerings, but they will go quickly, typically. So just if that answers that question.
And I'll say on the Conestoga side, since the 2.5 to 3.5 pearls class is the only one that at that age range, that one will be popular on the 6th. So jump on right away. There's not really a family unless they had a sibling in previous years that they'll enroll. So there should be spots available. They will fill up quickly. The class that we see the most kind of retention from is from that pearls class into the alliums class, which is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning class for the 3 to 4-year-olds. And so that one is a very popular one that may be full or only have a few spots left. So if that's the one you really want, again, I would jump on it as soon as you can on the 6th, right at open registration at 9.
Great. And so, Tyler, I think you pretty much just answered that question. Someone had asked, do pearls usually go into alliums next, or do they go to Vidalia shallots? So you're saying that pearls typically go into alliums.
Yeah, and I think what I've noticed is they like that morning time slot where I know that 1 to 4 kind of moves up into a little bit, and it's a little bit different age. The 4 to 5 or the afternoon is more for the 4 to 5-year-olds. And so if you're moving into a 3 to 4, the only option that we have is that alliums class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or our bilingual class. But once you're at Fano, everyone likes staying there. So it's a popular one.
Great. So I think we made our way through all of the questions in the chat. If you have any more questions, feel free to come off mute and just ask your question, or go ahead and put it in the chat, whatever you would like. We're happy to hang out here if anybody else has any additional questions, but we really appreciate everybody joining us and learning about our preschool programs. We've kept this contact information up with each of our program coordinators. So if you have additional questions at any time, please reach out to Tyler, Ted, or Rachel with additional questions. I put the link to our THPRD website in the beginning, and I put a bunch of links in the chat to registration, FAQs, and links to how you register an account. So thank you so much for joining, and pop on off mute if you have any additional questions.